Jaya Kunja Biya Jaya Gopijana Balaba Jaya Giribaradare Jaya Giribaradare Jaya Gopijana Jaya Gopijana Balaba Jaya Giribaradare Jaya Giribaradare Jaya Gopijana Jaya Giribaradare Jaya Yasodhanandana Jaya Brajajanaranjana Jaya Brajajanaranjana Jaya Yasodhanandana Jaya Yasodhanandana Jaya Brajajanaranjana Jaya Brajajanaranjana Jaya Yasodhanandana Jaya Yamuna Chiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Jaya Yamuna Chiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Chiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Gopijana Balaba Jaya Giribaradare Jaya Giribaradare Jaya Gopijana Jaya Gopijana Balaba Jaya Giribaradare Jaya Giribaradare Jaya Gopijana Jaya Yasodhanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana, Jaya Braja Janaranjana, Jaya Yasodhana. Jaya Yasodhanandana, Jaya Braja Janaranjana, Jaya Braja Janaranjana, Jaya Yasodhana. Jaya Yamuna Chiravanachari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Yamuna. Jaya Yamuna Chiravanachari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Yamuna Chiravana. Jaya Raja Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Ram. Jaya Raja Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Ram. Jaya Raja Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Raja. Jai Radha. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajakacarya Sudashata Sishima. This is Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Mr. Prabhupada ki. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajakacarya Sudashata Sishima. This is Divine Grace. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Grantaraj from Bhagavatam ki. Samabeta Bhakta Vrinda ki. Nitai Gopimanande. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru Gauranga. Narayana Namaskritya Narayana Narottamam Devam Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nasta Prayesva Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki Vediramani Chaiva Purano Bharati Tata Haduvadiyan Chamade Chahari Sabhatagiyati Mokam Karati Bhachalam Pangulang Garite Gri Yakipata Hamvande Sri Guru Dinatarine Paramananda Madhava Dhamma Pajita Katavutra Paramoni Masam Satam Vedam Vastavam Atravasno Shivadan Tapatayo Molanan Sima Bhagavate Mahamani Kriteki Vaipara Ishwara Sadyoridiya Variti Trakitipita Kishanam Nigama Kapatalu Kalitam Phalam Sukamukandravasam Vitan Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalaya Muhura Rasika Bhuvibhavuka Yasava Yashamanayan Krishna Paramapurushe Bhakti Utapade Punsa Sukamoya Baya Baya Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Vasudeva Sutam Devan Kansa Chanuramadanam Devaki Paramananda Krishna Vanti Jagaguru Namamo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Sunyabhari Paschachade Shatarine Vanchakapaturubhyascha Kripa Sundibhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanabhibhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I thank everyone for being here this morning for the Srimad Bhagavatam class from C.C. Krishna Balaram Temple here in Vrindavan, and also for those who are watching from ISKCON TV, Vrindavan TV. So I thank everyone for being here. So we are continuing the discussion, the reading of the Bhagavatam 10th Canto, chapter 69. This regarding Krishna's, was chapter 69, is it? Yeah. It's about Narada Muni visiting Krishna's palace in Dwarka. So Narada Muni was very, very curious about how Krishna is managing his affairs, being a grihastha, marries 16,108 wives. So the Narada Muni was very, very curious. And of course, Narada Muni, he already knows, after all, he's a great sage, and he's the knower of, he knows everything, he's a good, but in order to relish some particular lila and to show us about the extraordinary pastimes of Lord Kṛṣṇa, so this narration is being done, whereby Narada Muni is trying to see what Krishna is doing as a grihastha. Like in one of his lectures, Lord Prabhupada said that and if anybody wants to compete with Krishna, they better think of how to compete. Because Krishna is not just an ordinary grihastha, but it's a super grihastha. So when Krishna wants to do something, he does it complete, nothing ordinary. All his affairs, all his activities, they are always extraordinary. Just like Kapila Dev, he said, when my devotees get together, Satara Prashanka Mama Via Samvidu, Bhavanturi Kana Rasayana Kata. They said, when my devotees get together, they discuss about my extraordinary transcendental activities. So the Lord's activity is extraordinary. It's not ordinary, it's extraordinary. Which means Via means extraordinary, which means no one can imitate such activities. So when devotees, when they discuss this pastime among themselves, so they have a great relishment. Bhavanti Ritkana Rasayana Kata become very, very sweet hearing about Krishna Kata. Just like we relish to hear Krishna's Lila in Vrindavan, similarly also we relish hearing Krishna Lila in Dwarka. Everything is relishable. So Narada Muni, he has been visiting one palace after the other. So today we are text number 36 and also text 36 and 37. So it's a continuation of our reading. Narada Muni, Narada visits Krishna's palaces. So we can all chant together this text 36. Yeah. Avyakta-lingaṁ prakṛtiṣv antaḥ-pura-gṛhādiṣu kvacic carantam yogeśaṁ tat-tat-bhāva-bubhutsayā avyakta-lingaṁ prakṛtiṣu antaḥ-pura-gṛhādiṣu kvacic carantam yogeśaṁ tat-tat-bhāva-bubhutsayā avyakta-lingaṁ prakṛtiṣu antaḥ-pura-gṛhādiṣu kvacic carantam yogeśaṁ tat-tat-bhāva-bubhutsayā. So you can please read, chant.
avyakta-lingaṁ prakṛtiṣv antaḥ-pura-gṛhādiṣu kvacic carantam yogeśaṁ tat-tad-bhāva-bubhutsayā
So, yogeśaṁ. Ladies, avyakta-lingaṁ prakṛtiṣv antaḥ-pura-gṛhādiṣu kvacic carantam yogeśaṁ Yes. Avyakta, hidden. Liṅgam, his identity. Prakṛtiṣu, among his ministers. Antaḥ-pura, of the royal garments. Gṛha-ādiṣu, among the residences, etc. Kvacit, somewhere. Carantam, moving about. Yoga-īśam, the Lord of mystic power. Tat-tat, of each of them. Bhava, the mentalities. Bubhutsayā, with the desire to know. Translation and purport by the BBT, Prabhupada disciples. Very, very short purports. All right. Somewhere, Kṛṣṇa, the Lord of mystic power, was moving about in disguise among the homes of ministers and other citizens in order to understand what each of them was thinking. Purport. Although Lord Kṛṣṇa is all-knowing, while executing his pastimes as a typical monarch, he sometimes traveled about incognito to acquire necessary information about his kingdom. So the Lord was, eminent king, because Krishna is a Kshatriya. Krishna in Vrindavan is a Vaishya, but when he leaves Vrindavan, he becomes Kshatriya. So Narada Muni was, he saw when he arrived in Dwarka and entering Krishna's various palaces. So in this particular Leela, he saw that the Lord was going about the town in disguise, which means no royal dress, simply going about in disguise. Sometimes the efficient kings, they do that sometimes. They want to know what is the thought of the citizens. What are they thinking of their ruler, of their king? Just like Lord Ramachandra, the pastor was there that after the Lord returned from exile, and now was ruling Ayodhya. So one time he decided to go about the city. He wanted to know what people were thinking, what the citizens were thinking. So the Lord was wearing ordinary dress, and he was going about from house to house. Just like you mentioned here, also gṛha-ādiṣu. Gṛha-ādiṣu means among many residences, among many houses. So the Lord was going house to house, and then somehow he came across a washerman, and this washerman was having a fight with his wife. Apparently, the wife had been missing in the night. Maybe she went to a relative house or something. So, and then she had returned in the morning. So this washerman was very, very angry, and he was saying that, how could you be absent from your husband? How can you be gone? How can you be gone from the house? So therefore, I'm not going to accept you. I'm not going to allow you to come back. After all, I'm not like Lord Ramachandra, who his wife was kidnapped. His wife was separated from him for almost a year, and then he accepted her back. So I'm not like that. I'm very, 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 very strict. So therefore, I will not accept you back. So when Lord Ram heard this, he had this conversation. So the Lord became thoughtful. He said, "Oh, some citizens, they were thinking this way, that my wife, because she was not with me, she was kidnapped by a Ravan. Now I accepted her back. So therefore, now this, so which means in the Vedic culture, if a woman is not in a marital home, it's considered to be a blemish. This is very culture. It's considered to be a blemish. And Lord Ram, it's a special incarnation. His incarnation is Mayada-Purushottama. Mayada means the one who adheres strictly to the Vedic principles. He upholds the Vedic principle, the Vedic standard. Mayada-Purushottama. Whereas Krishna is not like Krishna does not follow the rules, especially in Vrindavan. No rules. But in Dwarka, Krishna followed the rules. That's the difference. And that's why sometimes, people, yes, they accept Krishna as Bhagavan, as God, but they accept Krishna as God, but not as Brajadananda Krishna, because, Krishna Vrindavan is, he was, stealing butter or going to, dancing with different women who are not his wife and all that. So therefore they said, no, we don't accept this Krishna. But we accept Krishna in Dwarka. Krishna is a king, lawfully married. He had lawfully married wife. He spoke Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, people they already accept Krishna as Vasudev Krishna. They already accept that, not Nandana Krishna. Because after all, the Vrindavan pastime is not something that is understandable by people, by common people. It's not understandable. Only those who are fortunate can understand that. So Lord Ram, you heard this criticism from a washerman, and being an Adya king, and of course the washerman was foolish, because Sita Devi was never touched by Ravan. She was never touched. Because when Ravan came to kidnap Sita, there was a fire that came out when Ravan was trying to cross the line, which was drawn by Lakshman. That time, the fire came out, so Ravan could not cross the line. But what happened is that Agnidev already he had original Sita in his kingdom. He had original Sita. The Sita which was kidnapped by Ravan was not the original Sita. It's actually Maya Sita, it's illusory Sita. But Ravan thought that he has taken Sita. Nobody can take Lakshmi, wife of God. And after the killing of Ravan, and when Sita Devi was rescued, came out of the Ashoka forest, and the Lord told her that now she has to make a test that she was never touched by Ravan. She had to, Lord Ram said, before she can come to him, she must go through the fire. And then she went through the fire to test her purity and all that. So she went through the fire, and then original Sita came out. Actually, when the illusory Sita entered the fire, and then the original Sita came out, by which Agnidev delivered. So original Sita came out. So Sita Devi was never touched by Ravan. Anyway, this criticism was there. So and then Lord Ram, he being an Adya king, Mayada Purushottam, by whose incarnation is to uphold the Vedic principle. So he decided to, separate himself from his wife, exile his wife. Now, however, this Leela is kind of very suspicious Leela, because some scholar authorities, they were saying that this pastimes, which was described in the Uttaramayan, that is actually kind of interpolation. That is never really true. It's not really original Lord Ram's Leela. That Sita Devi was never separated from Lord Ramachandra. Even in the narration of Goswami Tulsidas in Ramcharitamanas, this Uttaramayan narration is never there. So it's there that some say no, that this Leela never takes place. That Ram abandoned Sita, so they say never take place. So, but it's normal for the kings to want to find out what the citizens are thinking in their kingdom, so that they can adjust themselves accordingly. They can adjust themselves. So Lord Kṛṣṇa, he was going about incognito in Dwarka, trying to find out what the citizens were thinking. What are they thinking of him? Then of course, in Dwarka, everyone is a devotee. Everyone is a devotee in Dwarka. So therefore, who's going to think ill of Krishna? Nobody will think ill of him. Now, of course, the pastimes of when Satyajit, when his brother was killed in the forest after taking this Samantaka jewel, and that time there was some whispering in the Dwarka that maybe because Krishna wanted this this jewel, this Shamantaka jewel. So therefore, Krishna must have killed Satyajit. Is it Satyajit? No, his brother must have killed his brother and take this jewel. So because of this whispering, so Krishna himself, he left Dwarka and he went to the place. He went to the place where Satyajit's brother was killed by the lion, and then eventually he went to the cave of Jambavan, and then there's a lila there whereby he had to fight with Jambavan for 27 days, and ultimately Krishna retrieved the jewel, and then of course he married Jambavati. So that is there. So Narada Muni, so he saw this pastime, this lila of Krishna going about, in the house to house. So before I go further into this, we can try to know something about Narada Muni. That Narada Muni is such a great sage. Narada Muni is a special, it's not just an honorary person, he's called the Varishi because he's an incarnation of the Lord himself. As mentioned in the Bhagavatam, first canto, third chapter, the Lord had many, many incarnations. There are a lot of incarnations are there. And specifically, it refers to Narada Muni. Tritiyam rishi sagam cha divasi tvam upeti saha tatan satvatam machesta naiskamya kamanam jataha. So this is from the first canto, chapter 3, text 8. That in the millennium of the rishis, the personality of Godhead accepted the third empowered incarnation of Devarshi Narada, who is a great sage among the demigods. He collected expositions of the Vedas, which deal with devotional service and which inspire non-fruitive action. He mentioned here, Naskamya Kamana Yata, which means activities that frees one from fruitive endeavors. Fruitive, karma means you do something, you expect something back. But what frees you from fruitive desire, you perform activities for the activities to free you for performing actions that will lead you to desiring the results. So this is the incarnation of Narada Muni, who is said to be an empowered incarnation of Lord Kṛṣṇa. He's a Shakti-avis avatar. He's listed among all the incarnations listed in the Bhagavatam. So there are many incarnations are there. So Narada Muni, and his specific role was always to see the glory of Lord Kṛṣṇa. That is specific role. He wants everyone to render devotional service to the Lord. And if there's anything that goes against that, then he will make an endeavor to counter that, to make sure everyone ultimately comes to render bhakti to the Lord. And there are many roles you play. Now you find that in all the Puranas, Narada Muni is widely glorified in all the Puranas. And that's like when we read Bhagavatam, practically in every canto, you will hear Narada Muni is there in every canto. Narada Muni is there in every canto. Like Slavishnu Chakravarti said that the Lord, making his appearance among the sages as Narada, made the Pancharatra text, Tattva. From this, one can learn that devotional activities will liberate one from the bondage of karma. Devotional activities will liberate one from the bondage of karma. So, like Prabhupada will always refer to Narada Muni as the transcendental, spaceman. It's transcendental spaceman. Just like when Daksha, he caused Narada that you will not stay in one place for more than a day or something like that. Daksha caused Narada because Narada Muni, he had made his 10,000 sons, he made them devotee. Because Daksha was a Prajapati, he was meant to populate the universe. Daksha was one of the sons of Lord Brahma. So he was meant to populate the universe. So he produced many children. So his 10,000 children, he commanded them to go and populate the universe. But as they were going, Narada Muni met them. And when Narada Muni met them, he told them that you have not really understood the instruction of your father. Because they thought that they were going to go perform austerity so that they can be populated in the universe. But Narada Muni said, actually, you haven't understood the underlying principle of your father's instruction. And then he preached to them, he convinced them, and they all became brahmachari, they all became sannyasi. Give up the idea of married. So they all went to the forest, they became renowned sages. So Daksha was very unhappy. He was not happy at all that, what is this? And then again, he produced another 1,000 sons. Another 1,000 sons, which he again produced. Ayashva, is it? And then again, Narada Muni again preached to them, he again made them sannyasis. He made them renounce. So because of this, Daksha became very angry. He said, how can you be so cruel? You're such a cruel, you're so cruel. This cruel said you, I was accusing Narada Muni. After all, Daksha was also a great person. He was a son of Brahma. And Narada Muni is also son of Brahma. So therefore, he could chastise. And therefore, he caused Narada Muni that, okay, you will not be in any place for more than 3 days. You will not be in any place for more than 3 days. He gave a curse to Narada Muni. So Srila Prabhupada always say that yes, we have inherited this curse of Narada Muni. That yes, as sannyasi, we have to always go from place to places. We have to always go. So Prabhupada will always refer to Narada Muni as the transcendental spaceman. So his mission, there is one song, very beautiful song, very popular song, which composed by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur about Narada Muni. Narada Muni bhaja bina radhika ramana name nama mani udichoya bhakata gita same. Yeah. Okay, I will try.
Try a little harder.
Okay. So,
Speak clearly in the microphone.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So, this is a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur that Narada Muni is always going about. That when the great soul Narada, he places Veena.
Speak in the microphone, Prabhu. Come on, nobody can hear it or understand what you're saying. So speak clearly.
Hare Krishna. Okay. He places Veena, the holy name, is chanting Radhika Raman. Descends and immediately appears amidst the kirtan of the Lord's devotees. So when Narada Muni, when he places Veena, and his Veena is chanting Radhika Raman. That is, he's always singing. So these names appears amidst the kirtan of the Lord's devotees. So like a monsoon cloud, the holy name showers nectar in their ears. All the devotees, due to great ecstasy, repeatedly dance to their heart's content. All the people of the universe become maddened upon entering this intoxicating shower of nectar. Some people cry, some people dance, and others become fully intoxicated within their minds. Lord Shiva, embracing Narada Muni, repeatedly makes loud screams of ecstatic joy. And Lord Brahma, dancing very ecstatically, says, all of you kindly chant, Haribo, Haribo. In great happiness, the thousand-faced Ananta says, chant, Hari Hari. By the influence of the transcendental vibration of the holy name, the whole universe becomes ecstatically maddened, and everyone tastes the mellows of the holy name. Thakur Bhakti Vinod, the humble servant of the Lord, says, the holy name of Krishna has fulfilled all my desires by vibrating on everyone's tongue. Bhakti Vinod therefore says, therefore praise at the feet of Sri Rupa Goswami that the chanting of Harinam may continue like this always. So Narada Muni is always singing, vibrating his vina, chanting Radhika Raman. So, so when Narada Muni, when he came to Dwarka to see Krishna's pastime, to see how the Lord is adjusting himself among his 16,108 wives. Now, in this text which we read today, there is one specific text which says yogeśaṁ. Yogeśaṁ means the Lord of all mystic power. Yogeśaṁ. So the Lord, he married 16,108 wives. And then for each wife, he built 16,108 palaces for each wife. So each wife has got her own palace. And I mentioned that even each of these wives, this Krishna's wife, actually I'm going to read later from the Ujjvala Nilamani, that these wives of Krishna, they are exceptional women. And then Krishna is acting in each palace differently, not as the same, differently. Normally, a yogi can, a perfect yogi, like a great yogi, they can duplicate themselves into multiple forms. The yogi, they can do that. Duplicate themselves into multiple forms. But the activity of one form, the original form, is the same as the activity of all the other forms. The activity of the original form. So which means they can duplicate themselves, but they all do the same thing. Which means if the original form moves his hands, all the other forms, they also move their hands. It's all the same. But Krishna is different. So Krishna, he multiplied himself in thousands of Krishnas. So many Krishnas. And each one is performing different activities. Different activities. As we have been reading in the past few days, when Narada Muni, when he was going from palace to palace, in one palace, he saw Krishna speaking nicely with his wife. Another palace, he saw Krishna arranging marriage for his wife and for his children. So Krishna was performing different activities. Now, when Narada Muni came to Dwarka to see Krishna's palaces, now, how is he observing all the Krishna's activities? How was he observing those activities? 16,008 palaces. Does this mean that Narada Muni, he has to go from one house to another? And because, as we read it from the beginning of the chapter, when Narada Muni entered the palace, Krishna immediately welcomed him, and Krishna put him on the throne, and then Krishna make puja, he washed his feet and all that. So, which means in every palace that Krishna is attending, that Narada Muni is attending, is having the same reception from Lord Kṛṣṇa. So, when Narada Muni was coming, now how does he observe all these 1,000 palaces? So, which means himself, because he's a great yogi, he's not an ordinary yogi, Narada Muni. He also has mystic powers, big mystic powers. So Narada Muni, he manifested himself simultaneously. And then he was able to, so simultaneously himself, so he was able to go to all the palaces at the same time. He went to all the palaces, and then he was observing these different leelas, that, oh, Krishna is performing differently on different houses. So that's why this leela can be properly comprehended, understood, that yes, Narada Muni was able to see Krishna's performing different pastimes simultaneously, because himself was able to simultaneously see all these pastimes. He was able to simultaneously see this. So so that is this 36 is a yogeśaṁ, describing Krishna as the master of all mystic yoga. And now, of course, specifically saying that when Narada Muni, when he was seeing Krishna as going incognito to go house to house, Krishna was going house to house, trying to see what the citizens, what they are thinking of him, So, he mentioned here, the Lord is Paramatma, he is the Lord of all mystic power. So, does it mean that he doesn't know what everyone is thinking of him? He knows. He knows everything. He knows past, present, and future. He's in the heart of all identity. He's the Paramatma, the super soul. So he knows everything. But for the sake of Leela, so his Leela Shakti presented this, his Leela Shakti. So he made it known as if the Lord doesn't know, as if the Lord needs to know what people are thinking of him. After all, the Lord, he manifested, and he appeared, he performed his role as an ordinary human being, performing his role. Just like in the Braja pastimes, when Lord Brahma, when he stole Krishna's friends. So, and then Krishna was looking here and there, searching for his friend. He's looking here and there. It doesn't mean that he doesn't know. It doesn't mean that he doesn't know that this is the trick of Brahmaji. But he's doing that, his Leela Shakti is doing that so that, yes, the Lord is playing the role as someone who doesn't know, so therefore he has to find out. This is just characteristics of his pastime, the characteristics of his Leela. So the Lord is going house to house, from palace to palace, residence to residences, trying to find out what everyone is thinking of him. But so this is the observance of Narada Muni. So in the next text, when text 37, when Narada Muni was going about, and then he saw, so text 37, yeah, I just read it and the translation. Atabasa Krishikesam Anarada Prahasam Iva Yoga Mayodaya Bhiksha Manusim Yuso Gatim. So, translation, having thus seen this display of the Lord's Yoga Maya, Narada mildly laughed and then addressed Lord Rishikesh, who was adopting the behavior of a human being. So, seeing this Leela, Narada is smiling. He says, oh, look at my Lord. This is how he's acting. So Narada was amused, he was smiling within himself. So, Purport, according to Srila Vishnu Chakrabarti, Narada fully understood the Lord's omniscience. And thus, when he saw the Lord trying to find out the mood of his ministers, moving about in disguise, Narada could not help laughing. But remembering the Lord's supreme position, he somewhat constrained his laughter. So Narada Muni simply restrained himself because he's laughing. This pastime, the Lord is searching here and there, going from house to house, as if someone who doesn't know, even though he already knows everything, but we simply pretend not to know, so he's going from house to house and all that. In one of his comments, in his book Madhurya Kadambini, Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, he was writing that the Lord, he has two features. He said there are two features of the Lord. One feature is called Mukdata, and another feature is called Sarvagya. Sarvagya means the knower of everything. He knows everything, past, present, and future. Another feature of him is Mukdata. Mukdata means being forgetful. So, and when the Lord is in this mood of Mukdata, where he is forgetful, like forgetting his own omniscience and all that, his own vibhu, opulence. And this only happened in Vrindavan only. Because when Lord Kṛṣṇa, when he broke the butter pot, and Mother Yashoda was chasing after him, and Krishna was crying, rubbing his eye, and begging his mother not to beat him, and all that. So Srila Vishnu Thakur was commenting that the Lord was actually feeling it. He wasn't just pretending. He wasn't saying that, oh, I'm God, I'm the Supreme, He was actually feeling it, because this particular lila is potency of Mukdata is in play with the Lord. He doesn't think himself as the Supreme Lord. He simply thinks himself as a child who has become offensive to his mother. So he had to beg his mother not to beat him. And at the same time, of course, when Mother Yashoda, when she tried to bind Krishna, she was unable to bind Krishna because Krishna did not want to be bound. So at that time, his potency of Vibhu Shakti came, and this Vibhu Shakti is come, and whereby no matter how many times Mother Yashoda tried to bind Krishna, no matter how many ropes she put together, still Krishna could not be bound. The ropes always coming up short, 2 inches, 2 fingers too short. But when Krishna saw the endeavor of Mother Yashoda, because Mother Yashoda, she was very, very determined to bind Krishna. Even though everyone was laughing at her, all the neighborhood, they were saying that, oh, Mother Yashoda, you're unable to bind your child Krishna. But she was determined, saying that, she said, no, I must bind him. I must bind Krishna. So she would not give up the effort of binding Krishna. And because she would not give up this effort, so Krishna allowed himself to be bound. So therefore, his Kripa Shakti came in, and then he allowed himself to be bound by Mother Yashoda. So this pastime of Sarvagya, the know of everything, is there. But for the sake of his devotees, for the praying for the love which the Lord has towards his devotees, sometimes he allowed his devotees to just play with him, whereby there is no, in terms of no feeling of the omnipotency, the feeling of being God, Like, of course, this person is fully manifest only in Vrindavan, because outside of Vrindavan, Krishna is God, is the Supreme. There's no that chance. Even just like on the battle of Kurukshetra, when Krishna was speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and then Arjuna saw all the opulence of Krishna. He saw the universal form. So Arjuna was praying to Krishna. He said, oh, please forgive me for what I've done in the past. I've taken you for granted. I've, speaking unjustly to you. Please forgive me for what I've done. Arjuna was praying to Krishna this way. But in Vrindavan, that's never the case. In Vrindavan, no one ever prays to Krishna. Nobody prays to Krishna. They rather chastise him. They don't pray to him. But in Dwarka, everywhere else, they pray to Krishna. So that's the big difference between Braj Lila and Dwarka Lila. Same God, but different circumstances. So there are many much more deliberation that can be heard on this text, on this particular episode, on this Lila, whereby Narada Muni is actually relishing seeing all these different episodes of Lord Kṛṣṇa acting as a grihasta, acting as a husband in his palaces. So Narada Muni was relishing it, and at one point, Narada Muni said, oh, maybe I should just give up, trying to find out what Krishna is doing in his many palaces. Because after all, the Lord is wonderful. He's wonderful in every situation. It's wonderful. So Narada Muni is making his examination and all that in order to please the Lord. At the same time, he also does that with the devotees. Try to find out how devotees, how they are very determined in their devotional activities to the Lord. Like Sanatana Goswami, who are described in the Briya Bhaktamrita, of how Narada Muni, he was examining different devotees, trying to find out which devotee has more mercy from the Lord. He was trying to search which devotee has attained more mercy from the Lord. A devotee receiving mercy from the Lord is known by the characteristic, by the level of that devotional service of that devotee. So Narada Muni was going from place to place, from this planet to that planet, from Earth planet to the higher planet, to the planet of Brahma, then to Shivaji, to different devotees. But at the end, Narada Muni, he came to the conclusion that every devotee actually have a particular mercy of the Lord, and every devotee is very dear to the Lord. So, and then Narada Muni was praying to the Lord for mercy. He was praying to the Lord that yes, his vision of different devotees should always continue. So, of course, you have to forgive me another time. I'm not a good speaker, so I'm trying. So thank you very much for listening. If there's some comment, you can please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Just a comment that how the Srimad Bhagavatam is full of stories and deep philosophy, glorifying Krishna, the process of devotion. Now the 10th canto, the birth of Krishna, and then how he intimately deals with his devotees and all the beautiful prayers. Now we're hearing Narada Muni also at the palaces of Dwarka, seeing Krishna engaged in all sorts of activities, showing the prime example of how first of all, how great he is, and Narada Muni is part of the team to help convey that message. I don't know how many places they're reading 10th canto, but 10th canto just so much full of the nectar of beauty of Krishna and Krishna consciousness. So feel gratitude for Prabhupada for giving us an opportunity to hear Krishna through the authentic teachings of Vyasadeva. That was my inspiration today. Say a few words. Anyone else?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Anybody else want to say something or ask something?
We're ready for kirtan.
Yeah.
Kirtan.
So thank you for listening. Grant Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gopi Manande.